This headline might be a bit of journalistic hyperbole, but it's very easy to overlook the role eelgrass and other seagrasses play in keeping our oceans and planet healthy. Seagrasses don't have their own week on Discovery Channel, but when one realizes all the important ecological roles they play, perhaps they should. Eelgrass is a type of seagrass that grows in extensive meadows and small patches in shallow coastal waters. Like all plants, it uses energy from the sun, carbon dioxide from the ocean, and nitrogen from the sediments to produce sugar molecules and oxygen in the process of photosynthesis. In New England, eelgrass is found primarily in protected coves and embayments from Connecticut to Maine. Eelgrass produce flowers in the spring that without the aid of bees or butterflies are pollinated underwater. Seeds appear later in the summer. Seagrasses all around the world serve many critical ecological functions. They are important nursery areas providing refuge for the young life stages of many fish and shellfish. A wide variety of organisms use the meadow's complex three-dimensional structure for shelter and protection. Seagrasses are prolific primary producers that fuel the coastal food web through their direct consumption or through the detrital pathway. And seagrass meadows help reduce coastal erosion with the meadow canopy absorbing and dissipating wave energy while the roots retain sediments. Recently, seagrasses have been recognized as important mitigators of climate change. They occupy 0.2% of the ocean floor, but account for approximately 10% of the ocean's sequestered carbon. Seagrasses absorb large quantities of carbon during the growing season, also resulting in the release of life-giving oxygen. One other benefit of this large carbon uptake from the water column is the resulting increase in ocean pH. Thus, seagrass meadows are believed to provide a critical refuge for crustaceans and shellfish from the harmful effects of ocean acidification. However, the vast majority of the carbon associated with seagrass meadows is in the sediments where the plants take root. Most of the carbon in these sediments do not come from the plants themselves, but from organic particles floating in the water column. As the tide brings water in and out, the seagrass meadows act as large filters facilitating the deposition of these floating particles to the seafloor. Once in the sediments, the meadows can sequester the carbon for decades or even centuries. EPA is leading an effort to quantify how much carbon is currently being stored in eelgrass meadows in New England. By combining habitat distribution maps with sediment carbon data taken from cores, we are developing carbon heat maps. These maps will display where the greatest quantities of carbon are currently being stored, and could help decision makers with setting conservation priorities. Currently, scientists estimate that we're losing 7% of our global seagrass acreage on an annual basis, making it one of the most endangered habitat types on the planet. But the news is not all bad. There have been successful, large-scale restoration efforts in the Chesapeake Bay, Tampa Bay, and in Virginia. Scientists have shown that if we get the water quality right, seagrasses and nature have the capacity to heal. Although they only make up a small percentage of marine flora, it's hard to overstate the benefits that seagrass meadows provide, not only to help maintain the delicate balance of a coastal ecosystem, but also in the fight against climate change. Let us go into the Sea of Cortez, realizing that we forever become a part of it, that our rubber boots slogging through a flat of eelgrass, that the rocks we turn over in a tide pool make us truly and permanently a factor in the ecology of the region. We shall take something away from it, but we shall leave something too. And if we seem a small factor in a huge pattern, nevertheless it is of relative importance. Thousands of miles away the great bombs are falling, and the stars are not moved. None of it is important, or all of it is.